the B2B go-to-market has never been more connected or more complicated. Welcome to the B2B Orchestration Podcast, where we explore the transforming modern B2B GTM.
As you look at a CDP, you were really a big proponent of that within your career of getting a CDP. Who should be thinking about that? And how does that help set people up for success getting a CDP?
No, absolutely. I think the marketing operations, marketing technology, that's where my career has been in owning, marketing automation stack. And over time, I would just collect more and more pieces of the stack. And I think it's because of if you think about where the space is today as a B2B marketer, we want to leverage all of the data. We wanted to leverage product data. We wanted to leverage, if you have call center data, if you're bringing all of this data together, it's a natural evolution. And I think it's incredibly, key, especially in career growth for marketing operations folks. So there's two areas, right? Which is get to really understand CDP data and analytics is a great path to that, right? Like, so I went into owning, data analytics, the data marketing data analytics team.
And that bar is even lower now, I feel like, on the data analytics, because now we have systems that really help you understand the data a lot easier. So it's not like you got to go learn a bunch of code to understand data analytics, which is what it was 5 years ago. Now it's like, no, you can get into data and look at data a lot faster, just because of where AI has brought us too. So just for those who think like, man, well, how do I learn this whole new skill? I feel like that skill level is a much easier one to get into now than it ever has been.
Yeah, and I think it's just understanding, right? Like there's data strategy, just like in marketing operations, it's a very natural, right? Because we're so used to systems strategy.
Yep.
Now it's translating that to data strategy. And we've always been in it, but like to really get to know and understand, the databases, how your data is structured, the data schemas, how that ties with how your data is set up and how that impacts what a marketer, the outcomes that a marketer can drive. We're the best people to translate that, right? Yeah. And then now with AI and AI agents, there's the less needing to understand, like, for example, XDM schemas and knowing how to map them. We know from a philosophical and strategic perspective, how that we need to translate the data here into actionable outcomes and how that maps. Now we have agents that can help accelerate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a MOPS person, then how do you sell a CDP to an executive, right? This is just another tool, right? Like that might be what the executive's thinking. So like, why push so heavily into that? And how do you promote that at an executive level?
Yeah, and I did that at my last two companies, which is basically build the business cases to show the value. CDP is interesting because it's like the cement foundation of your house. We don't see like, oh, look at my amazing cement. Isn't it nice and smooth? But it's literally the foundation to generating revenue and pipeline, right? And I think it's two things. For me, there was a couple of ways that I did it, which was really focusing on the key use cases that drove hundreds of millions of dollars in pipeline that I could generate, right? I focus on the use cases. Now those are all powered by CDP, right? And so really finding the key use cases for that. I was attaching pipeline dollars to each of that, and that is how I built my business case. The double click down is the technical. Hey, this is how this is going to be accomplished. CDP is doing this, CDP is doing this, CDP is doing this. But really, I started, or the front foot is really the business use cases and the revenue and pipeline that was tied to that and what it enabled, right? Because instead of, starting with, I have unified profiles, so what?
What does that mean? Yeah.
Those profiles are going to be able to do amazing things. If you think about personalization, if you think about, I've had a complete maturity curve on using more and more pieces of data from more and more sources so that I could power modernization and personalization. And I think one of the key things that's happening in the B2B market space, right, as we are B2B marketers,
Yeah.
the window of seeing signals from people is getting shorter, right? They're doing more research, they're popping their head up, the signals, the hand raisers, it's a very small window. So when you've got that small window, you got to make every moment matter. And in order to make every moment matter, you got to really know about the person.
Yeah.
And that has to be up to date and it has to be complete and it has a full understanding and it's like literally updated every single day. How
Yeah,
do I
this is
act?
such a good use case because the stat that's always thrown out there is, I think it's like 60 to 70% of B2B deals they're all being researched prior, right? So they're doing all their work, all their research, all of those things, understanding the profile and all the activity. They may not be showing a hand raiser as we identify it as marketers, right? By filling something out or saying, hey, contact me, but they're showing you signals. It's like dating, right? They're going to show you some signals, they're going to put up the fields, and you have to have a platform that's going to like accept that, right? And like understand that. Now, and then the other stat that goes along with that is once they've actually chosen maybe their top three, they're going to go 80% of the time with the one that they've been researching with, right? And if you don't have a system of record, a CDP, in which has identified these individuals, how they're interacting with you, what they're doing, this also goes for upsells, right? It's not just brand new sales, it's upsells, right? They already have your foot's already in the door. Okay, what else are they looking at? What else are they doing? And if you don't have a system that's able to see all that and you're just going off of email clicks and page hits and you're trying to do your own analysis or throw that into an MCP and create a task to help you understand, it's like you're missing it and you're going to be behind the eight ball for sure if you're not already in a CDP that can understand that unified profile.
I think also if you think about it, the future, right? If you think CDP was okay, I'm going to send an audience somewhere else, but what are you sending?
Yeah.
The old way of thinking about it is we're sending a list of people so you can do the thing, right? But really, what AI has enabled us to do is to really think about, well, the most important thing is the context around it and being able
Yeah.
to action on that data and being up to date to it and then send what are we sending, what are we activating. And I think the connection is the integrations and the connection out is even more important.